Hello everyone, my name is Shelley Calhoun-Jones and I'm a Technical Marketing Director here at Cohesity. In this demonstration, we're going to take a look at how you can protect and recover an Amazon EC2 workload using Cohesity Data Protect delivered as a service. But before we get started, let's consider a scenario where we work for a company that has recently gone through an acquisition, and as the cloud administrator, it's important to start protecting the data of the newly added company to ensure data recovery is possible according to the new recovery time objectives. We also have data on-prem and AWS accounts within the organization. The challenge is that with this setup, you have workloads that are spread across multiple environments. This leads to higher cost and more expense overall. It also increases the risk because using different platforms can create a larger attack surface. We can use Cohesity Data Protect delivered as a service to back up our on-prem and AWS resources. For example, you may have a workload running on AWS, such as a multi-tier application that could be using Amazon EC2 for hosting a website. Within Cohesity, you can establish protection for both virtual and physical workloads, databases, and applications. This section covers various sources, including AWS accounts. And at the top, you can filter the sources by type, region, and whether or not that particular source is going under maintenance. By clicking on my AWS account source, I'm able to access tabs for Amazon EC2, RDS, S3, and DynamoDB. The tabs display both protected and unprotected resources. To protect a new resource, all I need to do is select the corresponding entry and click on Protect. To add new sources for protection in the new protection window, I first need to select a policy. It's important to note that Cohesity Data Protect provides two options for backing up Amazon EC2 instances. The first option is to use an AWS snapshot. In this case, Cohesity Data Protect utilizes native AWS snapshots to protect the EC2 instances, storing them within the same AWS account and region as the source EC2 instance. The second option is to use a Cohesity snapshot. Here, Cohesity Data Protect ingests the backup data to an AWS region that's supported by the service. By using the Cohesity snapshot settings, we can create and perform granular recoveries at the file and folder level. When selecting the protection policy, I have the flexibility to use either approach or both to back up my Amazon EC2 instance. And we also have the ability to enable immutable backups, which is a critical need going forward during our transition to the new policies needed following the acquisition. Let's click on Protect and take a closer look at the protection policy. In Cohesity Data Protect, a policy is a reusable collection of settings that defines the how and when objects from a source are protected. You can create as many policies as you need for your use cases. In this example, we're looking at a gold policy with pre-configured backup and data retention settings. But I could also add additional settings for performing periodic full backups or specifying quiet times or blackout windows during the day. Once I've confirmed my settings, I'll click on Save. The activity page provides a list of recent backups using a timeline format. I can filter by region, the type of task, whether we met the SLA, if the task was successful, and the source type. If I click on source type, I can select AWS and specific types of resources. I can also change the date range. I haven't recovered a resource yet, but we'll do so in just a moment. Let's click on one of these entries first. Cohesity Data Protect creates an immutable snapshot of your backup data. This is a gold copy of your backup data that is never exposed or mounted externally. It provides an extra layer of protection for your overall security strategy. In this example, we can see that the backup task succeeded, the SLA was met, and the overall duration. We can also see the total amount of data that was backed up. Let's take a quick look at the backup task activity to get a better idea of what happened behind the scenes. The backup task activity shows us an entire timeline of the backup task being added to the queue, retrieving items for the backup process, and completing the backup job. But what if we need to recover a workload? Let's take a look at the recovery process in Cohesity Data Protect. In fact, let's look at a different EC2 instance. In this example, we're looking at a compute resource that could be part of a multi-tier application with a database and storage layer. In the recovery window, we can see more information about the instance, including the AWS region that it's running in. You'll also notice that we have the ability to recover to the original location or a new location. For example, I may need to recover this EC2 instance to a different account or a different region. For this demonstration, we'll restore it to the original location. This completes the demonstration. We took a look at how you can consolidate data silos, enabling you to manage both your cloud and on-prem workloads from a centralized management platform. During the demo, we protected an Amazon EC2 instance and walked through the recovery process. This allows our cloud administrator to meet new recovery time and recovery point objectives, while also gaining additional immutability. Thanks for watching.